Why, yes, I believe we shall.
Oh, I got a live one here.
Welcome to Shane Plays, Geek Talk Radio. I'm so excited to be here. I hope you're excited to be listening. This is a new kind of talk show with a new kind of topic. We're going to be talking just fun stuff. We're going to be talking comic books, video games, board games, movies, TV shows, pop culture. Whether you're listening locally on 96.5 FM The Answer, if you're listening on the website or TuneIn radio app, welcome. Definitely glad to have you here. I'm Shane Stacks. I'm your host for Shane Plays, and you know I do a lot of things, but this is when I play. I'm a 100% card carrying geek, and we're going to talk about it. So get on up in here. We're going to have some fun. I'm going to jim and jam you all flim flam, and we're going to get geeky. So first off, just wanted to just say this is a great time to be a geek. Now I'm a child of the 80s basically. I wasn't born in the 80s, but that's when I was, junior high school. And all the stuff that everybody loves now, if you loved it then, you caught heck for it. So it's a great time to be a geek. I mean, comic books are big, comic book movies and TV shows and just sci-fi. And we got Star Wars coming back. And I mean, just so many cool things going on. So it's a great time to be a geek. This is why I want to do this radio show. I know people want to talk about it out there. If anybody wants to call in about anything geeky, I don't care what it is. It doesn't have to be the topic we're talking about. You can hit us at 501-823-0965. You can also hit me up on my Twitter account. It's real easy. It's Shane Plays. At that little at symbol, the only preposition on the keyboard. Shane Plays, ShanePlays.com. And you can hit me up on Twitter or give us a call. I've got a Shane Plays Facebook page, Shane Plays YouTube channel, Shane Plays Google Plus. So you can find me, trust me. And there's also a blog I'll talk about here in a little bit at ShanePlays.com. So first thing we're going to head into, and like I said, feel free to call in on this or anything else, but I want to talk about a new movie that came out 2 or 3 weeks ago. I went and saw it, and I absolutely loved it. And it was it's the Mad Max Fury Road, and I love this little clip from it right here.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
If you've seen the movie, that is such a great moment because this guy he's about to die, but he's just so psyched up, and he's like, "What a lovely day!" And the movie is just, they talk about. Spinal Tap, the joke there was, the guy was talking about his stereo goes up to 11, not 10, and that's Mad Max Fury Road. So I want to know your opinion on it. You can give us a call, 501-823-0965. You can hit me up on Twitter at Shane Plays. I loved this movie. Everybody I'm talking to loves this movie. Out of all the, if you don't know, Mad Max was it's a series of movies that started either late 70s or early 80s. And first you had Mad Max. And these starred, these basically are the movies that kind of put Mel Gibson on the map. You had Mad Max, then you had The Road Warrior, which is my favorite, but Fury Road, the new Mad Max, may take it over. Absolutely loved it. And then you had Beyond Thunderdome, which is not my favorite. It felt more like an action adventure movie and not a Mad Max, a post-apocalyptic kind of movie. Felt kind of big Hollywood. But that's the one a lot of people remember. It had Tina Turner in it, and it had, the Thunderdome. Thunderdome was, I guess, kind of the gladiator arena, and a lot of people remember that one. And then we've got Fury Road, which was just really, really good. If you haven't seen it, it's just so over the top. Even if you don't like that kind of movie, you should go see it just for the visuals. It's just so much going on. And if you don't know, I mean, you're basically in this post-apocalyptic desert wasteland, and everyone has got these really rigged out cars and trucks, and they're just basically, it's warfare, this tribal kind of warfare. And the stuff that's going on in this movie is just out of control. A couple of things I'll mention is you got I'm going to mispronounce this. Kendall, help me. Kendall, my producer, he's running the board. It looks like the Star Trek Enterprise in there. So tell me if I mispronounce this, Kendall. Is it Cirque du Soleil? You know, the performers, the acrobat people. It's like Cirque du Soleil or something like that.
That's actually correct.
Yeah, they brought these guys in to do stunts in the movie. And there's crazy stunts going on in the movie. And then you had I don't know, these characters were over the top. I just loved it. And there's this one truck, I guess, the main warlord, when he goes to war, he brings along this truck. And it's got people sitting on the back of it banging these big war drums. And there's a guy on the front of it playing a guitar with flames shooting out of the guitar. And it's like he's, you know, it should be cheesy, but it just works. And I just loved the movie. So one other thing I want to address on it, and I do totally recommend you see this movie. It's really good, even for the visuals. My friend Dave, he's seen it like multiple times. So it's one of those kind of movies you just catch new stuff every time you see it. Now, one thing I heard that it wasn't really a criticism, but people pointed out is they say, well, it's got this sort of feminist undertone in it. I don't know if I caught that, but it did definitely go into, if you're a woman in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, how are you going to be treated? And the group of people that Mad Max hooks up with to help is a group of women. But I didn't really see it as, some like feminist message kind of wrapped in a post-apocalyptic movie. So I didn't see that at all. Other people did, and that's fine. I thought Charlize Theron did a great job. She was one of the main characters. A lot of people were like, oh, Max was almost a side character. And I guess he kind of was. He's kind of not. If you've seen the old movies or the old TV shows like Route 66 or I don't know, Highway to Heaven or what, it's one of these kind of things where like these people are having problems and then the main character, and it's always a different group of people every episode, and the main character kind of shows up, gets involved with them, helps them out, and moves on. And that's kind of what happens with Mad Max. I heard somebody else say, well, there's no character development. Well, there actually is, because when the movie first starts, he's basically just in animalistic survival mode. He's just barely functioning. And then by the end of the movie, he's, basically Max again from the previous. So the criticisms I've heard, I don't agree with. But, if somebody else feels that way, that's, totally fine with them, to have that opinion. But I really liked it. If you're a fan of sci-fi or if you're a fan of those kind of post-apocalyptic kind of movies, or if you like Mad Max or whatever, check this movie out. I really liked it. And one last thing I want to mention on it is I was talking once again with my friend Dave Ellswick, who has a show here on 96.5 during the week, 2 to 6 in the afternoons. He was talking about they brought more practical effects, which means they did a lot of this stuff with real stunts and real practical props and not just all CGI, and it makes a difference. Ever since Terminator 2 back in the 90s, which I loved that movie, ever since then, we've gone more and more to CGI, and CGI has its place, but I don't want it as the main thing. Okay, it sounds like we got a caller. Who we got, Kendall?
Hello.
Hey, hello. Welcome to Shane Plays.
Hey, Shane, it's Bill Bracken.
Bill Bracken, my buddy. What's up?
I dig Mad Max.
I loved it.
I haven't seen Fury Road yet. I'm dying to see it. Just a couple of things real quick. The commentaries about Max's character development, a lot of people don't realize that he never has a lot of dialogue.
He really doesn't. No,
in The Road Warrior, I think he had 12 lines in the entire movie.
Yeah, I mean
he's in almost every scene, but he doesn't say much.
Yeah, he doesn't, and he doesn't in this one either. So,
and of the ones that I've seen the first three, I haven't seen the new one. Of the first three, my least favorite is actually the first one because I think it's kind of slow and and plotting in places. The Road Warrior is the best of the three that I've seen, and I think that the biggest problem that where Beyond Thunderdome suffers is really, if it was a standalone movie, I think it would be a cult classic like The Road Warrior.
Right.
But because it's not The Road Warrior and it didn't meet everybody's expectations coming into the theater, that a lot of people left with a bad taste in their mouth. And it's actually a really good movie in its own right.
Right. And I agree with that. It's just compared to the other ones.
Warrior.
Yeah, it feels it feels like a big Hollywood production rather than, the Road Warrior.
It's a completely different film.
Right.
I mean, it's still in the post-apocalyptic setting, but it doesn't have the whole, everybody's on this quest for gasoline, and it's almost like he's moved on from that at that point, and they're into a whole new phase of the post-apocalyptic setting at that stage, but the themes are consistent throughout. They're good action films. They're good popcorn movies. They don't beat you over the head with a message, and I think the beauty of Mad Max is that he's so taciturn and stoic, and doesn't he doesn't preach to you. He doesn't. I mean, he's there. He does what he's there to do, and he's a tough guy. And,
right.
I mean, you were right that these are the films that made Mel Gibson.
Right. They put him on the map. Yeah. Definitely.
And so great movies.
Yeah. I mean, definitely go see Fury Road. Great movie. Bill, I'm gonna have to run. I gotta get an ad here and pay the bills.
Pay them bills.
But me and you, we are on the same page when it goes to the Mad Max movies. Beyond Thunderdome was good as a movie. It was a completely different feel than
two men enter, one man leaves.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you had Master Blaster and all that. But all right, Bill, man, I appreciate you, and we will catch up with you later. Thanks for calling in.
All right, man. Yeah, enjoy.
Yeah. So, Bill and I are basically from the same generation. So he's a buddy, just so you know. You could probably tell that from me talking with him. But yeah, I mean, if you liked The Road Warrior, which most people in my generation did, I can't imagine you won't like Fury Road. Just a great movie. Anyway, we got to pay the bills here real quick. So I'm gonna run a quick ad for a business that's helping put this show on the air. And if if anyone's looking at increasing their visibility for their business, feel free to contact me, and I'll be happy to do the same for you. First, I want to talk about John Rock Hardiman and his Rock City Alarm Company. All right, this is a privately owned and licensed by the Arkansas State Police. Rock City Alarm Company has been in business since 1996, specializing in sales, installation, servicing, and monitoring of burglar and fire alarms for the state of Arkansas. Rock City Alarm provides service for residential and commercial alarms. Rock City Alarm now provides cellular monitoring with remote arm and disarm. Just call John Hardiman, and I'm calling him John Rock Hardiman. I've known John for a while. He's been in a lot of bands, and we used to call him John Rock Hardiman, but it's John Hardiman at 501-541-8747. That's John Hardiman at 501-541-8747, and that's Rock City Alarm Company. I'll give you that number one more time, 501-541-8747. So back to the topics of the show. Like I said, if you got an opinion on Mad Max, feel free to call in. You can call in about anything you want that's geeky. That's what we're here for. But the call-in number is 501-823-0965. You can also reach me on Twitter at ShanePlays, and that's just ShanePlays. So here's another thing from kind of switching over to video games. Kendall, I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna quiz you. See if you can get this one.
Okay.
All right. What major video game and major video game character debuted about 35 years ago in the arcade, not on home consoles? This game became massive, and I'll give you a hint. It's not Space Invaders, and it's not Asteroids.
No, it's not that. I knew it wasn't that.
All right. It was the first video game, arcade game, to feature kind of a character you could relate to.
I bet you I know this.
Can you get it?
Oh no, Mario?
No, that's a good guess, but it was actually Pac-Man.
Wow. Okay.
Pac-Man is having his 35th anniversary. It was actually May 20th, 1980.
That was my first answer in my head. I should have.
Really, you should have went with Pac-Man.
Yeah.
I don't. Today people are like, Pac-Man, what's all that about? But back in the day, I mean, that was huge. Pac-Man was major. And this was the day at home. You may have had a little Pong game. You may have had. I think there was a thing called an Odyssey. A real limited basic kind of home video game console. But at the arcade is where it was at. And they were slowly going from pinball machines over to video games. You had like Space Invaders and Asteroids and some other stuff out there. And then boom, Pac-Man came along and went crazy. And it sold 400,000 units. Now, to people today are like, 400,000, who cares? That's no big deal. You got to understand, these were big machines. And to sell 400,000 of these arcades was a huge deal. So it was also specifically designed to appeal to women as well as the typical male that would go into an arcade.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
Was Miss Pac-Man just as big as Pac-Man?
It was bigger, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it sold 700,000, I believe. But it was actually bigger, believe it or not. But I think Pac-Man was huge, and then Miss Pac-Man was really huge, and then after that they kept coming out with Pac-Man games, but none of them were quite the. And Miss Pac-Man had a story in it.
Storyline to it, yeah.
Yeah, about basically her and Pac-Man trying to get together. But yeah, Pac-Man was interesting because it was a non-shooting game, right? You're running around eating stuff, right? And yeah, you would chomp the little Energizer and then go eat the ghosts, but that was pretty radical in that day. That was a radical concept, and it really did bring in the women and couples. It was designed for couples, and it did what it was supposed to do. So if anybody out there likes Pac-Man at all, it is the 35th anniversary, and you can do some searching out there. Just search for Pac-Man online, and you can play. There's legitimate places to play Pac-Man online, and I will post on my blog a show notes from today that will also have a link to that. So if people are wanting to do that, so if you loved Pac-Man, we talked. I was on the Dave Ellswick show yesterday, and we just had people say, "Hey, call in with your favorite arcade game like Defender, Asteroids, Space Invaders." Missile Command. A lot of people really called in because they just have a nostalgia for that. So if anybody wants to call in and talk about the day, you're more than welcome. Once again, the number is 501-823-0965, or you can hit me up on Twitter at Shane Plays. So want to talk about something kind of local here, Kendall, real quick. There's actually happening today, just by coincidence, there is a convention at the Central Arkansas Library.
Oh, wow.
Did you know about that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so I'm gonna throw out a little bit of information on that. It's happening today. I think I'm gonna get the firm information. I think from 10 to 5 at the main library downtown in downtown Little Rock. I think 100 Rock Street is the address, and they're having all the normal stuff that you think that they would be having, such as they're having cosplay. You know what cosplay is, where people dress up like?
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
they're having a cosplay contest. They're having social media scavenger hunt. They're having tabletop, which is check out games of all sorts. Tabletop games, which are getting really huge. They're building Legos and color your own superhero mask. And they're having panels talking about stuff. They're talking about Frozen and Game of Thrones. Harry Potter, Lego, Doctor Who, Star Wars, and then they're having a cosplay contest, and it's all free at the library, and that's today. So in Little Rock, and I've got a friend down there named Kenny, and he's been sending me updates on social media. But if Kenny, if you want to call in, if you're listening, want to give us an update, feel free. I'm sure you know the number, but it's 501-823-0965. But yeah, Kenny's been down there recording stuff and sending me updates and everything. So it sounds pretty cool, and I think that's cool that our local library system is doing that. I think that's really neat that it's just for free, because this is what I'm talking about when I say it's a good time to be a geek. This stuff is huge now. People, it's a cultural thing. There's entire people that they just associate themselves with the stuff they love, and they have fun doing it. And I think it's great that like our Central Arkansas Library System is throwing that on, and then that's another reason why I want to do the show, because I know people care about this stuff. So, just come along for the journey, and we're gonna have a great time on this show over the weeks and months and years to come.
Well, Shane, it's funny. I think your generation, or even mine, I think we're really well ahead of the curve as far as really being into video games,
right?
Into gaming, because now it's so widely accepted now. I think that's really the cooler part.
Yeah.
Of him being a part of this new generation of gamers now.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like the people growing up now, they probably cannot conceive of not having video games. No. It's just like having TV or radio or whatever, phone.
Right, exactly.
Or the internet. I mean, it's just there. But I can actually remember when they came on the scene, and so I still have a huge fondness for those old games, as well as the new games. So, want to bring up one more movie topic, and then we'll move on. But and I'm going to talk about this probably more in future shows, because I know there's people with a pretty strong opinion on it. There's the new Suicide Squad movie is coming out. And that's based on a DC Comics comic book. Okay, and in it, what the concept is they take supervillains. The government takes supervillains and puts them together and sends them on missions where they may or may not come back. And they, in the comics, I don't know how they're going to do it in the movie, but in the comics, they usually put like a bomb in their neck, and if they go off script, then they'll kill them. So that's the conceit the concept from the comic books. But have you seen the uproar over the Joker photos? Have you heard of this?
I've heard a little bit about it.
Okay, so they started teasing photos. It's got the Joker in it, and the main character that's in it from the Joker universe, I guess if you want, is Harley Quinn, which is his girlfriend. She's a crazy clown lady too, and but they started releasing photos of Jared Leto as the Joker, and people have really responded pretty negatively. He's got like crazy teeth and tattoos, and somebody described him as a meth head. And so I'm curious if you have an opinion on that out there, call me. It's 501-823-0965. That's 501-823-0965, or you can hit me up at Shane Plays on Twitter. And let me know what you thought, because it blew up on Twitter. People were really upset. And my thing is I'm kind of holding off, because every movie has its own visual design.
That's right.
Right? So I'm waiting. I don't necessarily like it, but I'm waiting to see how it fits into the overall movie, right? Because you can't take necessarily the Joker from the Dark Knight movie, which was amazing, Heath Ledger. You can't necessarily just drop that exact Joker into another movie, because it may have a completely different feel to the movie, have a completely different design. So I'm kind of waiting to hold off. But if you absolutely love it, or if you absolutely hate it, let us know. And then also I'm hearing that the Batman may be showing up in Suicide Squad. So that'd be cool, right? I don't know how much, because if you have too much Batman in it, it's no longer a Suicide Squad movie. It's a Batman movie. But I am hearing that the Ben Affleck Batman may be showing up in the Suicide Squad movie. So if you're into movies and you're into comic book movies, there's a little teasing piece of information that probably has a lot of people pretty excited. So another piece of movie news, and then we'll move on. I'm hearing, I don't know if people are Tron fan. I'm a Tron fan. I liked the original Tron. I liked the sequel they made a few years back called Tron Legacy. I thought it could have been a little bit better, but I liked it. I'm glad they did it, and I wish they would have done more. But I'm hearing that Tron 3 is being canceled because there was a new movie that just came out called Tomorrowland.
Yes.
And evidently it did okay, but it didn't knock it out like they were wanting it to.
No.
So I'm hearing Tron 3 has been canceled, which would really bum me out, but that's life. So what can you do? I hope that comes back out of being canceled. I think there's a lot in that series or in that franchise that could still be explored and have a lot of fun with. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, I just read that, I think today or yesterday, and that kind of bummed me out. So I'm gonna We are going to pay the bills again real quick and then come right back to it. So this is after this we'll talk about the Dave Ellswick classic movie as well. But let me read this real quick. So this is for if you're local and you want your comic books, let me tell you about the place to get them. Comic book lovers. Michael Tierney's local comic book stores meet all your comic book needs with friendly service. Visit the comic book store on Treasure Hill Road in Little Rock or Collector's Edition on JFK Boulevard in North Little Rock. And don't forget to click on over to the wildstars.com website. I personally have been a customer of Michael's since the mid-1980s, and I trust him for my reserve list still today. Michael knows comics. In addition to being in business for 34 years, he has written multiple columns for comic magazines. He's also an Overstreet price guide advisor, and he publishes his own comic book series, The Wild Stars. He's been publishing this since the 80s, and I've read them all. Trust me, these stores are run by a comic book lover for comic book lovers. Remember, for all of your comic book needs with friendly service and to get your copies of the Wild Stars, make sure to visit the comic book store on Treasure Hill Road in Little Rock or Collector's Edition on JFK Boulevard in North Little Rock, and visit thewildstars.com to learn more. And if you're a movie lover, you definitely want to listen to this spot that's coming up right now, the Dave Ellswick Classic Movie.
The June Dave Ellswick classic movie is 1994's The Shawshank Redemption.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard all the evidence. I submit that this was not a hot-blooded crime of passion.
Directed by Frank Darabont and starring Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman, Shawshank Redemption tells the story of two imprisoned men who bond over a number of years, finding solace and eventual redemption through acts of common decency.
Send you here for life? That's exactly what they did.
Shawshank Redemption shows one time only, Tuesday, June 9th at the Riverdale 10, located at the bottom of Cantrell Hill. Cost is $5.
I believe in two things. Discipline.
Nominated for 7 Academy Awards.
And the Bible.
And Oscar winner for Best Picture.
Here you'll receive both.
And Best Actor, Morgan Freeman.
I'll tell you something, my friend. It's a dangerous thing.
Tickets on sale now at Riverdale 10. The June 9th Dave Ellswick classic movie, The Shawshank Redemption. Brought to you by the Riverdale 10 and 96.5 FM, The Answer.
All right, so if you're a movie lover and you're in Little Rock or even not in Little Rock and want to drive in, make sure to check that out. Every month, Dave Ellswick does a new classic movie. A few months ago, I got to see Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan at the theater again. For the first time since in the theater anyway, since I saw it with my dad when I was probably about 10 years old. So that was a really cool experience. And he has all kinds of movies. In fact, I think he's got The Road Warrior coming this summer. I'm pretty sure he told me that. So I always keep up with the Dave Ellswick classic movie. It's a lot of fun. So all right, man, Kendall, you're a video game player, right?
I am.
What are you playing right now?
Well, I'm kind of more of a sports guy.
You like the sports games?
Madden Mania, man.
Okay.
Madden, NCAA games. Well, obviously NCAA has what EA Sports no longer makes.
Do you get mad and throw your controller?
I do. Yes, I do. I yell. My wife is a testament to all of mishaps.
You get mad and throw your. When you play sports games, there's like a total flip side. You love talking trash when you bring it, right?
I freaking love it.
But then on the flip side, you throw your controller when it don't go right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I tell you, like I've had my moments and having been in Madden tournaments back in college, man. I think those are some of the good times, but those things can get pretty dicey.
Right. Yeah, they can. So I don't know. I play a few sports games. That's not really where I come from. Last time I really got into a sports game, and this is going to date me, was it was NHL hockey something. It was the one where you could fight and the guy would drop and hit the ice and his head would bleed.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how long that's been. So
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I just want to see out there what people are playing, and probably the newest big release, not sports game, but in general as a gaming release, is The Witcher 3. And this is, of course, Witcher 3. It's the third part in a series that has just continually been gaining steam. I watched a buddy play this for a couple of hours. In fact, I want to throw a quick shout out to my friend Nathan Tolbert. I swung through over Memorial Day weekend and visited him up near Kansas City in Olathe. And not only was he amazingly cool and gave me an Amiga 2000 and Amiga 500, but I also watched him play The Witcher 3. We'll come back to The Witcher 3 in a second. Sounds like we got a caller. Hey,
it's Kenny, man.
It's Kenny. Kenny, give me an update on CalsCon.
Oh, it's going great. There's a lot of people here at the Little Rock Library off of Rock Street.
Yep.
They just had a panel on. I was able to go to the Game of Thrones panel and the Harry Potter panel. I have some video footage of that, which I'll probably upload and send out later on sometime next week. They're going to have a Doctor Who panel going on right now, starting at 1:30, and then at 2:30 they're going to have a Star Wars panel, and then at 4 is the cosplay contest.
Right.
So they dress up in the.
Have you seen any interesting cosplay?
Oh yes, I've already seen them here because they're registering right now.
What's like the best one you've seen?
Looks like there's a very detailed looking Batman one.
Really?
So I posted it and shared it to your Twitter account, Shane Plays PR. It should be on there.
Okay.
And then they also have things like drop-in gaming. Looks like they're doing building Legos, and they're having table board games. You can pick out a bunch of board games and play them. And that'll be pretty much going on until about, I think it starts at 4, ends about 4:30, 4:45 or so-ish. And then after that, there's a group, the Libertarians are having some kind of speaking engagement, public speaking thing that's going on afterwards. So
okay,
if you
but that's separate.
People afterwards, some of them are fans, and so you see them. The thing will be over, but they'll be doing something else. So.
Okay, well, thanks for the update, Kenny. And just to remind people, it's at the Central Library downtown. I think that's 100 Rock Street down near the River Market, and it's free, right? So go check it out. Yeah, I think that's really cool. Library did that. Thanks for calling in, Kenny, and have some fun down there, man.
I will do.
All right. I got out of all those panels, I would probably. I like Star Wars, but I'd probably want to go to the Doctor Who panel. I'm a pretty big Doctor Who guy. I like classic Who and the new Who, so that would probably be an interesting panel to set in on. Harry Potter, I'm not down on Harry Potter. I'm just not a major Harry Potter head. I've read like 2 or 3 of the books, seen a couple of the movies, but I know there's people that are way into Harry Potter. So I'm don't call up here and tell me you're gonna turn me into a frog or something, because I'm not down. I'm not down on Harry Potter. I'm just not personally big into it like other people are. But back to video games. The big one that I know of right now is The Witcher. That's the one that dropped a couple of weeks ago. It looks amazing. I watched my buddy Nathan play it, and for a couple hours, or probably not a couple hours, probably about an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. Really enjoyed it. I'm one of those people that can watch my friends play a game and enjoy it, just as if I'm playing it. And it looked really good. Very, very detailed. The combat looked fun. The story looked interesting. And basically, this game has come out of I guess there's a Polish fantasy novels series that these games have come out of. And I guess with Witcher 2 a few years ago, the franchise started getting big. And now Witcher 3, it's like a major release, not movie-wise, but game-wise. So if you're playing The Witcher, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. What I saw of it looked pretty good. And a Witcher is basically somebody who can fight like monsters and evil spirits and demonic things, but he's not like a swing-in good guy hero. He's like, if you pay me, I'll go do this for you. So he's kind of gruff, kind of rough. But what I saw of it looked really interesting. So I doubt that I'll pick it up myself, only because of time. I don't have the time to play the video games that I used to, but I have enjoyed watching it, and I've watched people play it on Twitch, and it looks really good. So it's call-in number is 501-823-0965. If you have an opinion on The Witcher, if you're playing it, if you're liking it, or even just tell me what you're playing right now and why you're playing it, why you like it, why other people might like it. You have an opinion on the Mad Max movie, on the Joker, the Jared Leto Joker, any of that, anything geeky, bring it on. If you want to tell me your favorite geeky moment from your entire life, we'll talk about that. So what I'm personally playing right now, video game wise, is a game called Pillars of Eternity, and it's a role-playing game. That's probably one of my favorite genres to play, is an RPG, CRPG actually, because I also play tabletop role-playing games. But it's the people that basically did the BioWare, like Baldur's Gate and that stuff. They they did a Kickstarter and they came out with sort of a spiritual successor to the Infinity Engine games that people love so much, the Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale, and it's really good. I really like it a lot. It's taken me a while to work through it just because of life, getting in the way. But every time I play it, I love it. I'm also playing a game called Shadowrun Chronicles that used to be Shadowrun Online, but now it's called Shadowrun Chronicles. And it's not a full multiplayer online game. Like, it's not an MMORPG, but it's Shadowrun, and it has a storyline you can go through, or you can do side missions, and it has a co-op feature. So you and three other people online can play, up to three other people can play online. So it does have an online component. I've really been enjoying that. And the other game I'm playing right now is now, a lot of people know about Hearthstone. It's a game from Blizzard, and it's a card game like Magic the Gathering. Speaking of Magic the Gathering, if my buddy Carlos the Magic Man's out there listening, I told him I'd give him a shout out. What's up, Carlos the Magic Man? This guy lives, eats, sleeps, and breathes magic. You can usually find him down at Imagine Games in Sherwood, slinging the cards. But I'm telling you, he's a bad mamma jamma. Don't mess with him. Don't try to come after him with your cards unless you know what you're doing, because Carlos don't play. He's a tournament ranked player. He loves it, constantly talking about it, and he loves him some Magic. So if you know Carlos, tell him I said hi. And that is Carlos the Magic Man. But anyway, so what I'm playing right now is Pillars of Eternity, Shadowrun Chronicles, and then now Hearthstone's been around for at least a year. Are you familiar with it, Kendall? Do you know Hearthstone?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
okay,
I've heard of it.
Okay, so it's like a card game, kind of like Magic the Gathering, but Blizzard released it. The same people that did Warcraft, or World of Warcraft, I should say. And it's been out for a while. It's a fun game. It's free to play, but, of course, they kind of tease you into buying more cards and things like that. But it's a lot of fun. Now, what's interesting, what's kind of brought me back into it, is they released a version for mobile, and it's plays so smooth on the phone. You would think that you're playing it on your desktop. So if you have a phone or a tablet, you can play this mobile version of Hearthstone now, and it's really, really good. So I guess I can't brag enough on how well it plays. Like, you don't really feel like you're losing anything UI-wise or experience-wise playing it on your phone that you would on a desktop. So I very, very impressed with that. So I can't recommend it enough. So if you like collectible card games like Magic or some of the Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and you haven't tried Hearthstone, try it out and try it on your phone, because I'm really impressed. I have to brag on it. So I've spent several hours now playing it on my phone, and I'm just really impressed. So that's what I'm playing right now. And of course, I have 10 other games I'd like to get to. My wish list on Steam is off the chart. That I'd love to get to, but time is as they said in Star Trek Generations, time is a predator that stalks us all our lives, and it's very hard to find the time to do everything we want to do. What I got now, folks, is I got some Star Trek news. So we're about to hit it with some Star Trek news with a couple of neat items that I want to share with you. All right, so that's my big Star Trek music right there. So I heard that song years ago on Dr. Demento, and every time I think of Star Trek, that song runs through my head, especially the part where it says, boldly going forward because we can't find reverse. I love that so much. But anyway, there's a couple of cool items out there for Star Trek news, and the first one is, if you're not aware, there's been some people basically continuing the original series, Star Trek, the original series, different actors, but they've rebuilt the sets, and it's the same characters, and it's just a labor of love. Now, one of them is Star Trek Phase 2. That's not what I'm talking about today, but I'm just going to let you know there's more than one group of people doing this, and I support and appreciate both of them. One is Star Trek Phase 2. I think it used to have a different name. and they changed it to Phase 2. But there's another one called Star Trek Continues. Now, what both of these groups of people are doing is they are filming new episodes of Star Trek, the original series, as if the show continued, because, it went 3 seasons. So these are basically like, here's the 4th season. And they're doing it extremely well. Now, it is fan films, so there are moments where the production maybe isn't as high quality, but given what they're working with and given that they're doing it, how they're doing it, they're really well done. Now, Star Trek Continues, okay, just released. I think they premiered it last night at the Phoenix Comic-Con, but they have a new episode. I think it's episode 4 for them, and it takes them a while to put these episodes out. In fact, I think they kickstarted this one, used Kickstarter to help fund it, but it's called The White Iris. So all you need to do is go to YouTube, and again, this will be in my show notes. After the show, I'll post some show notes and make it easier to find this stuff. But it's called The White Iris, and it's on YouTube right now, and I would be very surprised if even if you didn't like the story or the acting or whatever, I would be very surprised if you weren't impressed by how hard they're trying and how good it looks and how they're really trying to make it look like the original series. I mean, even the bright colors and all that, it's as if the show continued. So make sure to go check out, just go to YouTube, search for Star Trek Continues. They have their own YouTube channel. Once again, I'll put this on shaneplays.com on my blog so that people can see so people can get to it easy. But so search for Star Trek Continues, and the new episode, if you've seen the other ones and weren't aware there's a new episode, it's The White Iris. Now, if you haven't seen any of them, then check them all out because they're really good. I'm really impressed. Now, personally, as for me personally, I kind of like the Star Trek Phase 2 episodes a little bit better. There was one called Enemy Starfleet that just blew my mind. Really enjoyed, but I like them both. And it seems like Star Trek Continues is getting stuff out more on a dependable schedule. So I salute them for that, and I like them both. I mean, I will definitely watch this episode. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet. But just search for Star Trek Continues, and the episode is The White Iris. Now, the other piece of news, and I think this is also a fan thing, but from what I can tell, it's pretty good. And there's fan films that are coming out that are done really well. So, just because it's fan stuff, don't let that put you off. I mean, if they would put Star Trek on TV, I'd watch it, but they're not. So, the fans are keeping it going just as they have in other times in the history of the show. So, but the other news is it's called Star Trek Beyond the Stars. We got a caller real quick. We'll come back to Star Trek Beyond the Stars. Hey, welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Otto from Little Rock.
Hey, Otto. What's going on, man? Welcome to the show.
Not much. I just want to talk about the Joker and Batman being in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, bring it on.
I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to tie every movie in together in the DC universe like they're doing with Marvel.
Definitely, yeah.
So that's why I think they're trying to have Batman appear in it as he's going to be, in the Superman versus Batman, and they're trying to tie everything together. And also think that the Joker is based off a graphic novel called The Killing Joke and a little bit off the New 52 style Joker. So
okay.
He's trying to, of course, create his own different type.
Right.
So that's why, it's a different type of Joker and, trying to just do something different like insanity versus,
right.
Methodical or whatever else.
Well, what is your opinion of what the new Joker looks like? I mean,
I think it's good because it's different and he's trying to do a different approach and different,
right.
type of Joker to the screen rather than the same old thing.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I'm kind of waiting to see the movie before I judge, right?
Right, exactly.
Because Suicide Squad, even Harley Quinn looks a little different. They've made her look more like kind of punk rock tank girl kind of thing rather than traditional Harley Quinn. So I'm kind of waiting to see how that goes. Now, you brought up The Killing Joke. If people don't know, that came out in the 80s, and it's a classic graphic novel. Alan Moore wrote The Killing Joke, and it was basically his take on the Joker was amazing, and he also was the first one to kind of give an origin for the Joker, so or a possible origin. And it's also where Batgirl, where he shot Barbara Gordon and paralyzed her. So, that's a very classic reference, to bring up. And he was wearing like a Hawaiian shirt or something like that. And, so he wasn't just a traditional Joker. So,
right. And the photos that he's releasing are like similar to the pictures from the Killing Joke. Like the cover was a picture of the Joker with a camera.
With a camera.
Things that Jared Leto did.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, I'm waiting to see it. It's whoever plays the Joker, they've got a hard act to follow because people loved Heath Ledger's Joker so much. So,
right. And a lot of people don't know that Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, was actually the Joker in the cartoon.
He was. Yeah, he was the voice of the Joker, and he did a great job. And did you catch him in The Flash, where he reprised his role as the Trickster in the recent Flash TV show?
I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, it's classic. Yeah, he kind of did a Hannibal Lecter thing, and he also kind of riffed on the "You Are My Son," kind of dialogue. So it was right. Really good. So, well, man, I appreciate you calling in. Before you go, Otto, have you seen the new Mad Max?
No, I haven't seen that one yet.
Right.
Last one I saw was Avengers 2.
Okay, what did you think? See, I liked Avengers, but it didn't. It was a good action movie, but to me, it didn't have as much heart as the first Avengers movie. What was your take on it?
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it's got its own, setup in the whole entire giant story that they're doing. That's right. Why I liked it for the overall story and how it ties into other stuff, and it's trying to set up and introduce some new characters and whatnot.
Right.
But also, I was going to touch on that Oscar Isaac, how he's in Star Wars, and he's also in X-Men Apocalypse. He's going to be Apocalypse as well, and he's going to be, the X-Wing pilot in the new Star Wars movie.
Wow, yeah, he's he's a double threat, man. Even if these are the only two movies he's ever in his life, his career is set for going to conventions. So, that's pretty neat. Hey, man, I gotta let you go. We're about to have to wrap the show here in a second, but thanks so much for calling in. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Good show so far.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it. We're gonna keep going. Yeah. So, real quick, I was gonna talk today. Radio goes so quick, and in an hour we'll just go when you blink. Next week, we're going to talk about the big summer event, comic book events, which are DC's Convergence, and then Marvel has Secret Wars, which I've read. The first two of Secret Wars, the first one was just inscrutable, but the second one was really good. Really enjoyed it, so I think it's going to be a good series. Listen, don't forget to go to shaneplays.com. That is the blog for the show, not just for the show, but in general. I'll put show notes there. There's some recent posts there you may want to check out. One is basically a review of DC's Convergence, and then I did a post talking about an old Dungeons and Dragons rule called Thaco, which is 2-hit armor class 0, and whether it was good or not. So you may want to check that out. Listen, we have sponsors for the show, so I need to take care of that real quick. But keep in mind that not only do I have sponsors for the show, but there's also this thing called Patreon. And Patreon is a way to support things that you like, for people creating things. So I'm trying to support the show not only through sponsors, but also through Patreon. If there's people out there that are listening, like the show, want this kind of show, you could help out with as little as $1 per show. So, it doesn't have to be a big commitment. But I'd appreciate you if you consider that. And it's Patreon, patreon.com/ShanePlays. And I'll also put that in the show notes. So we're going to go out with an ad real quick, then I'll say goodbye. And we'll probably hear some closing music here in a second. So real quick, for the Macomb Teague Agency, 501-838-6827. Did you know that your business can provide its employees with the same benefits packages as even the largest Fortune 500 companies, often at no direct cost to you, the business owner? What if we could show you how to save money at the same time? Well, if you've always thought that you would like to offer those big company benefit packages to your employees, but thought there was no way you'd be able to make that happen, let the team at the Macomb Teague Agency come by and show you how that can be possible and just how simple it is to put into place. At the Macomb Teague Agency, they specialize in employee benefits packages for companies just like yours. If you can give them 15 minutes out of your whole year, they can show you how all of this is possible. They offer major medical and group and individual plans, on or off exchange, dental and vision, life products, cancer, accident, short and long-term disability, and many more that create that ever so priceless commodity in your employees known as loyalty. And yes, they are ACA certified. They even offer the same benefits on the individual basis if you're just a one-person entrepreneur, which I have been at times in my life, making things happen all on your own. Give us a call today, or give them a call today, that is, at 501-838-6827. That's 501-838-6827 to schedule your no-obligation on-site consultation. With over a decade of experience, let Jesse or one of the team offer you great customer service and face-to-face care today. The Macomb Teague Agency, serving all of Arkansas and surrounding states, 501-838-6827. And what they say is give us 1% of your trust, and we'll earn the other 99. Make sure to give them the call. And I know Jesse personally. He's a good guy. So give them a call. That's 501-838-6827. So we're about to wrap. We're probably going to hear the music here in a second. I appreciate you so much for listening to the first show, the inaugural show, as it is, of Shane Plays Radio. We're going to keep this going. I know a lot of people are excited about it. I know I'm excited about it. And as far as I know, there's nothing like this out there, at least in the area I live in. So we're going to fill a niche here. We're going to have a lot of fun, and we are going to get geeky together and just keep on trucking. So one thing I was going to tell you about before we go, there's this crazy, I haven't even had a chance to watch it yet, but I'm going to. They've been teasing it for a while, and I guess it finally dropped on YouTube. But it's called Kung Fury. And if you haven't seen this, I've seen little bits of it, and the special effects are just crazy. It's this crazy over-the-top thing. It's called Kung Fury. You can find it for free on YouTube. And it's got like a dude like surfing on the hood of a car, shooting lasers, and then there's like a big giant Viking jumping. I don't know what else is going on here, but it looks like a heck of a lot of fun. And if you're listening to this show, it's probably 100% right up your alley. So definitely check that out. Don't forget to check out the Star Trek Continues, the White Iris, which is on the Star Trek Continues YouTube channel. I was going to talk real quick about there's a new Star Trek CGI series coming out. I think it's fan-made, called Star Trek BeyondTheStars.com. And it evidently follows 4 different ships and their crews at 4 different points in history. And it looks pretty neat. So go to Star Trek BeyondTheStars.com. I'm looking forward to that. And I also, like I said, I'm going to check out this. I'm going to check out this Star Trek Continues, and don't forget the website at ShanePlays.com and Patreon.com/ShanePlays. See you next week, guys. Let's keep it geeky.